Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Elemental Education. Today's video will be the last part of magnetic effect of electricity, that is part 5. So in today's video we will be studying about DC generator, electromagnetic induction using two coils and domestic electric circuit, what is earthing of appliances and what is electric fuse. So let me give a brief introduction about the last video what we have studied. We have studied about AC generator. So what is the difference between AC generator and DC generator? The construction is almost same except only one thing is the difference, that is the split rings. We are using split rings here, and in AC we are using same Fleming's right hand rule what you have used in the earlier video in DC generator. So what is the difference here? Only the slip rings and split rings. How we will first let us see the construction is same. So for the working principle we have to consider Fleming's right hand rule. So in our case, see, the magnetic field is in the direction of north to south, this side. Okay, now the rotation will be in the anti-clockwise. So let's see my hand, I am holding my hand like this, three fingers. So first finger, the thumb, will be denoting the motion or the force applied. This finger is the magnetic field and this finger is the current induced. So in our case, this is the magnetic field from north to south. Okay, so now this is the direction of motion or anti-clockwise direction of our when we are moving the shaft giving some mechanical force. So this is the direction of current induced. See, current induced will be inside the board. That means current induced is in this direction from D to C. So guys, similarly, the current induced from this coil will be from B to A. Why? The magnetic field direction is fixed here. Okay, and the motion is changed. How? This is from upwards to downward direction. This was from moving upward. This is going downward. So the electric current induced direction will be changed. This is what we have to study about DC generator. This is all we have to study about DC. This is all we have to study about AC generator. In AC generator, this is all we have to study about DC generator. So in DC generator there are split rings. We know in DC motor how these are carbon bushings B1 and B2, right? So how the carbon bushings were in contact with this split rings in DC motor, similarly in DC generator also they are in contact with these split rings. So when the coil flips like this, after that in this halfway it gets inertia of motion. So this inertia of motion lets the coil to move a complete rotation. This complete rotation again gives the contact with this bushes. These split rings get contact with these bushes. So this makes a direct current to flow across it. Why? The direction of current here in the coil is always constant. The direction of, suppose this coil DC changes the direction here. The DC is flipped here. So what happens? The current flow will be same. The current flow in this DC will be in the same direction. So the direction is constant. So when the time, suppose there is a time graph with voltage. So when the time increases, the voltage remain constant in DC. When the time increases, the voltage remain constant in DC. Suppose we are getting 5 volts, then with increasing time the DC is constant. This is what we should understand about DC generator. So DC generator and motor are of same construction. So the question here arises, can I use a DC motor as a DC generator? Yes, of course I can use a DC motor as a DC generator. Instead of giving electric supply, if I am connecting this to a galvanometer or if I am connecting this to some voltage charging battery, if I am connecting this to a battery for charging, if I am giving some mechanical force to a motor, if I am giving some mechanical rotational force in the shaft, then it will induce some current in it. That electromagnetic induction in this current will get charge the battery. This will charge the battery, or you can light a bulb or whatever it be. So similarly, we can use a AC motor as a AC generator. So both the construction are same, only the working is different. Here we are giving electrical energy to get mechanical energy in DC motor, but in DC generator we are giving mechanical energy to get electrical energy. That is the only difference between DC generator and DC motor in AC generator and AC motor. So now our next point will be electromagnetic induction using two coils. So guys, we have already studied that electromagnetic induction. What is electromagnetic induction? If you have watched my previous video, chapter 4 and chapter 3 of magnetic effects, then you might have known that electromagnetic induction is when there is a wire, if it is kept in a magnetic field of a permanent magnet or a temporary magnet or electromagnet, if it's in motion, this change in the magnetic field or this change in the or this motion induces the current in it. The motion of the coil or the wire induces a current in it. This is known as electromagnetic induction. So I must say you, if you haven't watched those videos, please go to my channel Elemental Education in YouTube, search for those videos. It is in a playlist. Watch those videos properly so that it will be easier for you in subsequent videos. This is our last part, so I have made all 4 videos, complete chapter I have made the video, and even for electricity also there are so many videos. Please go and watch, it will be helpful for you guys. Now let us see, we have already studied, this is one case. In another case we have studied electromagnetic induction using a solenoid and a bar magnet. This is a galvanometer, there is a bar magnet. If I am moving the bar magnet, there the wire was moving but the magnetic field was constant. Here I am varying the magnetic field. So this gives rise to induced current in this coil. So this is the second case. Now the third case is this one, electromagnetic induction using two coils. That means instead of a magnet I am using another coil. This is quite interesting. So guys, if you are liking my video, please, if you are liking my content at least, please go to my YouTube channel, watch those videos and like all the videos and comment there. If you have any doubt, please watch these videos continuously, repeatedly. I would suggest you watch it repeatedly until you get the concept. And after that, if you still have doubt, please comment on my video and share with everyone also, so that it will be beneficial to others. So let's continue this topic, electromagnetic induction using two coils. So here in this case I am using single coil here. This is a voltage source and there is another coil. I am giving this to a galvanometer. There is an iron core in this coil, soft iron core. So what happens here? So we know that if I am passing a current through a coil or a wire, then the magnetic field is created around it. That means here the coil has so many rotations. So these rotations will induce some magnetic field. It will create some magnetic field. So how the magnetic field will behave? This way. From north to south it will travel. So in this case, this coil comes under the magnetic field of this coil. This coil acts as a magnet now. This coil is normal coil with a soft iron core which will get affected due to this magnetic field, where this coil will get a induced current due to this. This is a magnetic field. So we know a magnet and a coil is required in our experiment. So this is a magnet now because I am giving a voltage or a current is flowing across it. So we are getting a, suppose this is voltage, this is a DC voltage. Suppose I am taking a DC voltage for our experiment, 12 volt. In this case, if I am switching on this switch, then what will happen? There will be a deflection in this galvanometer. The needle will deflect. Why? Because the magnetic field is created suddenly. So when we are moving a magnet, that means we are creating a magnetic field suddenly, then there is an instantaneous current generation or instantaneous current is induced. So this instantaneous current induced passes through this galvanometer. So this galvanometer gives a deflection. This is known as EM or electromagnetic induction. This current is induced due to this magnetic effect, right? Electricity causes this magnetic field. This magnetic field another, again it causes the electric current to be induced. Now, if I am switching off suddenly, if it stays constant, that means there is no change in this magnetic field, there is no change in the electricity, or this coil is not moving, all are static. Because it's a DC current, right? The current is constant. So there won't be any other current induction in this coil. So for only 1 second, the time when we are switching on or switching off, due to this magnetic effect, right? Here the current will be induced. That is instantaneous. This current is induced when I am switching on and switching off. So a galvanometer will be in this direction, suppose, when I am switching on. If I am switching off, then it will be in the opposite direction. That means the current flow will be in the opposite direction. So we understood how a current is produced due to another coil which is near to that. Now we will see the practical uses of it. Where we are using, you might have seen there are transformers, right? How the transformers work? Transformers have, let me draw a bigger diagram for you guys. Transformers are of two types actually. They are step up or step down transformers. So how it will work? See, this is a core. So this side there is one coil, this side there is another coil. That means here this is suppose 220 volt AC. AC means continuously it is changing the direction, on off. So this is AC. AC means continuously the current flow is changing the direction. Similarly, this is a step down transformer. That means we will get 12 volt across this. This is 12 volt AC we will be getting. DC we cannot induce. In DC, because the current is constant. That is why always the transformers works in a AC voltage supply. So this is AC. The current induced. The current will produce a magnetic field in this soft iron core. So this coil comes under this magnetic field. This magnetic field will induce the current in it. So this current is again a AC current. Why? Continuously it is switching on and off, right? Here also continuously on and off. So this on and off gives birth to the AC current. If I want 12 volt DC, I will use a rectifier in it. Rectifier. That we will study in our 11th class. What is a rectifier? What is a bridge rectifier? Or a diode. Diode is also known as a rectifier, simple rectifier. So this is how we are inducing current. So I hope this topic is also clear for you. Now I will go for domestic electric circuit. That is only the theory part. So guys, our next topic is domestic electric circuit. So we know that we are getting a 220 volt in our home from the electricity grid. So this is a representational view how the wiring is done in our house. So this L represents the line or N represents the neutral. So we know in AC, if you put on a tester, line tester, we have small line testers, right, like a screwdriver. If you put on, there in the socket there will be 2 pins, right, and 3 pins actually. One is for earth, the top one is always in the earth. One side will be the neutral, one side will be the line, or one side the tester will glow, another side it won't glow. So how it works? One side is line, one side is neutral. Generally the lines are in red color wires. These are in black or blue or yellow, whatever it is. So neutral will be in that color. And the earthing is always in the green color wires. So guys, how this happens? There is, when we are getting a connection, right, there is a main switch, or sorry, there is a main fuse. This is main fuse. What is the work of main fuse? Suppose there is a overloading condition or short circuiting condition, this main fuse will blow up, or we are not getting any higher voltage supply. So our house is protected. The electricity appliances are protected in our house. Now there is a meter. This is a meter from where we are getting the bill every month. So this meter will calculate how much electricity is passing through it, or how much load we are taking, how much electricity we are consuming. So this meter will count that. So after that we have a main switch. Main switch, what is the work of main switch? Suppose this main switch is the total cutoff from our household appliances, wiring and the supply. That is till meter it is the grid supply, right? So from main switch it is connected to our all the household appliances or sockets where we are getting the voltage. So this main switch acts as a cutoff. So main fuse, main switch, meter. This from this meter we are getting it grounded. So if I am getting any higher electricity leakage or something, this will go towards this ground. We won't get the shock. Let me explain why and how. Suppose you are using a press. We know this press is made up of iron. Iron is a good conductor of electricity. So here inside the press we have coils, heating coils. This heating coil will produces the heat, so it will work. Now this is plus, or we can say this is line. In AC there is no plus minus. This is line, this is neutral. So in this line, while connecting the wire to the socket, what I will do? Suppose I am not doing proper wiring or something, I have not insulated properly, it will touch the body. This line connection, the wire getting touched to this body. So whenever I am doing some press, I touch my hand or something to this body, I will get a shock. So to prevent that, this body is again connected to another green wire, I have told you, to the third pin in our socket. This third pin in our socket to ground. This in turn it comes here and goes to the ground. Suppose there is a leakage voltage rise, whenever I am touching it, I won't get any shock. Why? This total electricity has traveled to ground. So this is how we can prevent the electric shock. Now after this main switch, all these appliances, right, they are in, suppose I am using 5 or 6 appliances. Let us name it. I am using a TV, fridge, AC, mixie, bulb or lights or fans. We know TV is maximum of 300 watt, fridge is of 750 watt, AC of 1500 watt, mixie of 1000 watt, bulb of 50 watt or 100 watt max, fan is of 80 watt. So these two are heavy load or high voltage rating load. They will draw more current because the wattage is higher. We have studied in our electricity chapters. So this bulb, fan and these two, TV and fridge, they are of minimal load, or this bulb and TV are of minimal load. So they will draw a lower current. So we cannot mix it together. If I am connecting everything in series, ultimately the load will be higher, it will break the circuit. So we are connecting everything in parallel. So all the sockets for this TV, fridge, everything will be in parallel. So again we divide it to a high voltage rating line, and another one is low or minimal voltage rating line. In these 3 sockets will be there: TV, fridge, bulb, fan. Here it will be AC and mixie. Sorry. This is low voltage line, this is high voltage line. So these are parallel. Anyways, these are parallel. Why we are doing this? Here I will be connecting another fuse, protective circuit. Here also another fuse. This will be maximum of 2 ampere to 5 ampere. Here it will be 15 ampere. Why? We know this will take a, here it will be, sorry, I have again changed it. This is 5 ampere or this is 15 ampere. High voltage will be of higher ampere fuse I will be using. Why? We know it will draw higher currents. till 15 ampere it will sustain. If the current due to some faulty circuit, if the current or the load is higher, then this fuse will melt and it will protect the circuit. Similarly, after 5 ampere, if the load is higher, we know these appliances won't consume more current. So if this 5 ampere exceeds in this circuits, it will break the fuse and it will protect the circuit. So we have understood how the domestic electric circuit works and how the earthing is done. Earthing is always done. Let us draw a clear diagram to understand how the earthing is done in our house. Earthing is always done. Suppose it's a supply socket of 3-pin socket. So this is always earthing or earth. So this is connected to the main switch and meter where it is grounded. Now there is a appliance. Suppose there is a press or iron. I was saying you about that right earlier. Suppose this is a iron or press. Here earthing is done in the body, not in this coil. This earthing is connected to here and these two wires are connected to line and neutral. This way we can protect ourselves from the leakage of any current or shock from the electricity. Now our last topic is electric fuse. I will tell you what is a electric fuse. Electric fuse is a thin wire. Electric fuse is a thin wire made up of copper and there is some plating on it. So what it will do? So this has low melting point. This has low melting point. This fuse wire has some low melting point. So suppose this is the line connection, right? This is a suppose, let me draw again for your understanding. Suppose this is a fuse box where the fuse is here this way. Okay. Now there is some load I am giving. Let it be fridge or TV, whatever. So due to short circuit, fuse are used for two conditions, two things. One is overloading, and another is short circuit. So what is overloading? Overloading means suppose this fuse is of 5 ampere. That means it can withstand the load up to 2 kilowatt, like 2000 watt. Suppose it is withstanding the load up to 2000 watt at max. So if I am giving a AC, that is 2 ton or 2000 watt of AC I am giving. Now I am giving another load across the same. Even though it's are in parallel, but it will get added up, right? So what, in the same condition I am giving another AC. So what will happen? This will ultimately increase the load in this fuse or in this wire. So instead of this wire get heated up and burn, this fuse will get burned. So it will break the circuit. So it will protect us from overloading. So when there is overloading, the wires, right, we know due to higher load, if a higher current is running through it, when the current increases, the wire will get heated up. So when the wire get heated up, the insulation, right, outer insulation made of plastic and rubber, it will get burned. So this will make a fire in the circuit. So this fire will burn our house. So to protect that, we are installing a fuse circuit in it. The next one is short circuit. So what is a short circuit? When this line and neutral gets connected. Suppose there is a wire. We know the wires are twisted together. Suppose this is a wire. So how the wires are twisted? This way the wires are twisted inside that. Due to overloading condition or the wire insulator getting weak, so what will happen? This will melt. If this melts inside, it will get short circuited. That means neutral and lines get connected. So when they are getting connected, obviously instead of passing into the appliance, it will pass here. So it will make a short circuit. It will make a short circuit. This short circuit will burn the house. So to stop that, we are installing another time a fuse. So a fuse will protect in both ways. So this is the end of our chapter. Both the chapters I have completed, that electricity and magnetic effect of electricity. All 5 parts I have completed thoroughly. Please go through it. Watch my videos n number of times until you get a clear vision what our topic is and the concepts are clear. So once you are getting the concepts clear, practice the numericals. So guys, please do like my video if you are liking the content and do share with others. Thank you all. Thanks and bye bye. Guys, this is the end of our video. Please go through this video n number of times until you get these concepts clear. If you haven't watched those 4 videos before this video, please go and watch those videos as well. That will make this chapter very clear for you. And I have made other chapters videos also. Please go and watch through it. If you like my video or the contents of the video, please like this video in my channel. Go to my channel, subscribe it and hit the bell icon so that you will get the videos when I am uploading at the same instant. And moreover, please do share with others. And if you have any likes or dislikes or any other wanting, or if any doubts in the video, in the course, please do comment in my video. I will be helping you out over there. So this is all for today. Meet you in the next video. Thanks and bye bye.